Hello. Hi, everybody. We're live. Uh, yeah. Hi, I'm Amanda Call. This is my channel. This right here is a page of a comic I've been working on. This is Prophets of Doom, issue 1, page 8. We spent a couple of streams working on penciling this. I think 3 streams ultimately working on penciling this. I finished it off stream after last week. I had a little bit left to do. Um, my camera's being goofy. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, I finished up the pencils right after last week's stream because I just had a little bit left in this last panel to do here. And after that, I got them all scanned in, and I meant to only do the inks on this stream, and then I kind of forgot that I was supposed to be waiting to do inks for the stream, and I was inking some other pages because I tend to work on my pages in batches. And then I started inking this one, and I got some of the inking some of my drafting tool inking done, and then realized, oh no, I forgot to wait on that one. So, all right, hopefully my camera will stop freaking out now. So yeah, that's so I did start a little bit on the inking, but there's still plenty more to do. There is plenty for us to do together here. So that is where we're going to pick up. I'm still working on a lot of the things that are going to require my drafting tools. So a lot of the straight edges and curves and that sort of thing. We'll probably break out some of the other drafting tools. Actually, I think I'm going to do that first before I start getting this page all covered in wet sticky ink. We will do some of the stuff with the ellipse templates. So we've got our circle template, and I've got my lots of different ellipses template. And usually I use traditional media, but well, I mean, this is technically traditional media. Usually I use a dip pen, but for using these guys, I use a Pitt pen, a felt tipped pen, because the templates do not have the same kind of, oh, this poor thing. I've had these for 20 years now. They've done their time. They're in not great shape for good for good reason. They've put in many hours. But yeah, they do not have the beveled edge that my French curves and my triangle do. So if I try to use a dip pen on this, the ink will run under the edge and just bleed everywhere. You can see where I've had some mishaps where that sort of thing has happened before. It'll just bleed underneath the whole template and make a huge mess. We don't want that. And that's why for the templates, I tend to use the felt tip pen. So I've got a few different, these are not quite full on circles. This is like a 60-degree ellipse. So we've got the speakers back here. I'm just going to pop these guys in real quick. All right, there's that one. We've got this bass drum back here. And we'll add the little parts around the rim afterwards with the nib pen. That I'm just going to have to use a French curve on because that's pretty big. Ah! My poor abused template getting caught on the edge of my page. That's pretty much just a circle. Let me see if the circle will fit that better. Yeah, that's pretty close to just a circle. It's pretty close to straight on. All right, cool. There we go. Looking pretty good. Hello, everybody. This one I'm probably just gonna be able to do French curves on. So I think that's gonna do it for the templates. I can hang those back up in their spot on my wall. All right. So for more of this curves, straight edges, I have a couple different French curves. I've got my big, long, gentle curve guy. I've got my medium-sized tight curve guy. I actually own a smaller one of these, like a much smaller one with like really tight curves, and it's disappeared. I don't know where it went. It's been missing for a long time now. But first, we're gonna do some more straight edges with our trusty old triangle. I need to like clean this thing. Oh, look! Art! Hello, Alan. I hope you are enjoying the art. Ah, speaking of art, I just got 6 Thrones of Bone in the mail. Oh my gosh, and the art is so cool. It looks so good. Kind of jump around doing this stuff because I don't want to drag my triangle through wet ink. That would be very bad. We do not want that to happen. And that's also part of why when I'm not working on stream, I tend to be working in batches so that I can do like one pass on one page, do a bunch of the straight edge, let all of that dry while I work on straight edge, a passive straight edge stuff on another page and kind of hop between them that way. Which seems like it would not be super efficient, but it actually kind of keeps the process moving along pretty quickly just because I'm not waiting around for ink to dry and or accidentally making a big mess that I then have to clean up. Hey, Hungry, how you doing? Grab some of these other little details. Let's see. Okay, straight edge down here. Gotta get this mic stand. Get a few more of these little details here. We've got this little screw bit thing or nut or whatever you want to call it that tightens where you adjust the mic stand. It's kind of like counterweight at the end of it. All right. What else do we need up here? Back to the top. I'm going to try working at the very top to not get into any of this very wet, fresh ink down here. So we're going to go all the way up here. And so you guys can't, I'm not going to tell you this is like a professional way to do this. You guys can't see what I'm doing out of frame, like the part of the paper that's not in frame. But while I go back up top to work on this section up here so that I don't like lean on this lower section, I'm kind of like, as I scoot it down, I'll show you what I'm doing. As I scoot this down the desk toward me, I'm actually like kind of curling the bottom up against myself so that I don't like lean on the wet ink. Is this like the best technique? I don't know, but it seems to work. I don't imagine it would work super well with like a really stiff illustration board, but this is like 400-pound Bristol. It's plenty flexible. It works. What is the oh, that's the table this lady's standing in front of. Okay, I was confused there for a second about what I had drawn. I'm caught up to speed now. Oh yeah, I never drew the other edge of the stage over here. That needs to be like here, actually. Whoop. All right. Gonna get some of these little like stand pieces on the drum kit back there. The various bits that are holding the drum kit together. Is that? Yep. Whoop. Okay. All right. So, how was everybody's week? How was your weekend? What have you all been up to? I had a good weekend. I spent a fair amount of it crunching to get a piece completed, to get turned in for a gallery show, which I did manage to do. It was due on Sunday, and I spent a lot of Friday night and Saturday night staying up way too late, hunched over my sewing machine, trying to get it done. But I got it done. I got it turned in. I'm very excited about that. It's up in the gallery at this point. I haven't gone and seen it because the gallery's in Bangor, so it's a little bit of a trek for me. But then the opening reception is going to be on the 6th, I think. So if I don't make it down before then, at the very least, I'll get to see it then. I'll probably end up making it down before then, just because I usually end up having to go down to Bangor for all sorts of different stuff at different times. Stay in frame. There we go. While I clean my poor dirty triangle. This needs to be like Windexed or something. It's looking pretty scrimmy. Also, reminder for folks who may have not tuned in previous times, on a page from Prophets of Doom, which is written by Joseph Schmalke and drawn by me, obviously. I'm the one doing the drawing right now. The ash can we released the ash can for Free Comic Book Day, and there are copies of it for sale, I think, on Joe's website. I'll probably have some up on my Ko-Fi eventually when I get my act together here. We'll both be selling them at conventions. There's going to be another part of that is also going to be featured. I think part of that is what's going to be featured in the San Diego Comic-Con preview from Midnight Factory. Midnight Factory being Joe's publishing house. So if you're going to San Diego, you'll be able to pick up one of those too. That has not only a preview of Prophets of Doom, but a bunch of other cool Midnight Factory books. I think that one has 7 Years in Darkness, We Don't Kill Spiders, Murder Hobo, and crap. There's one more, but I can't remember which one it is. I failed my promo test. I need more media training, Joe. I don't remember what else we're promoting. Okay, there's a lot of the straight lines I've pretty much gotten. There's still a few in that first panel, but most of the other ones I've gotten done at this point. I'm going to take a break from the drafting tools for a moment and just kind of freehand some inking down on this guy here. Just going to do some details. So while the figures I mostly do in brush, along with like big spot blacks, little details, especially inorganic details like glasses, stuff that's going to be pretty thin like that, and also is just like something like manufactured instead of organic, or like not fabric, that sort of thing. I usually do with the pen. And so along with that, I'm also going to do his buttons. And his little suspender adjusters here. I don't know what those are called. It's little slidey bits that you like adjust to adjust the length of the suspenders. All right, I think up here we're going to do a little bit of clean my pen real quick. Okay, using this big long curve, we're going to start with the curve of this table here. His hand is on the edge of it, and his arm is on the other edge, so you won't see those ones. Thank you. Thanks, Alan. I don't know, were you here previously when I was talking about the band in the background and some of the inspiration behind behind these guys for my personal life? Yeah, yeah, my dad and my uncle, well, non-familial uncle. Hey, thanks, Jason. Yeah, so I grew up around, you know, rock musicians and also music equipment. So it helps to have that level of familiarity where it's like I can tell if something looks right. At least I could tell if it looked super duper wrong. Like, yeah, there should be more general like crap on this stage, but I also don't want it to be super crowded. Like there would definitely be more bits and bobs all over the place, but I don't want the scene to be like too cluttered. So we have the essentials up there. Yeah, and Jason, it was a it was a challenge plotting out some of these pages because there's so you have these guys in the foreground who are having their conversation around their little, and in the background like the band is playing in the background, and that's or getting ready to play in the background. And there are a couple of times in the script where it like cuts to the band. And so making sure that the band, even if we don't like have a panel where they're the focus for a little while, it's like, okay, but they still need to be doing stuff in the background so that you don't forget that they are in fact a part of this scene. So they kind of need to even when they're not the focus, because like there's no dialogue from the band in these first two panels, and then the singer Robbie speaks in this panel, and then we go back to the guys who were talking, but also because we're not leaving them, we're not moving away. I still have like the corner of Cotton's head over here. So it's kind of like trying to not, especially since this is the first page of this scene where we're going to be kind of shifting focus back and forth between those two. It was like, okay, we need to establish on this page that both of these groups are important to this scene. That's I feel like I didn't explain that super well, but hopefully that made sense. I realized like halfway through I felt like I was rambling, so hopefully that all made sense to you. Okay, now we go upside down. Oh, I also have to tell you all about a ridiculous thing that happened. Would you like a fun, ridiculous story? Because I have one of those from this just a couple of days ago. So, Sunday night, I'm trying to fall asleep. I'm lying in bed and I can't get to sleep. I'm just kind of like lying there, not really falling asleep. And I can hear like an animal running up and down the hallway. And I'm just like, ugh, the freaking cats are being crazy. Worse, I'm trying to sleep, having a hard time falling asleep, and they have to have the zoomies. Like, why not? Why couldn't they? But then something in my brain was like, what if it's not the cats? And in case you were unfamiliar, that's not the craziest thought because we live in the woods. We've had critters get into our house before because it's an old trailer. So, it's kind of made of cardboard. So it's not too difficult for an animal to like find a little gap around some plumbing and chew a bigger hole and get its way in there. And so we always have like the cats are constantly catching mice. We have had a weasel get in the house before, if you remember that story from a few years back. We've had squirrels get in the house before. And whenever it's a larger animal like that, we find whatever hole they made and we fix it. But, they never stop. They never stop trying to chew new holes into my house, right? And so a part of my brain is like, "Oh my gosh, what if it's like what if it's a weasel again? What if it's a squirrel? What if it's like a rat?" Or just like playing through like all of these things that it could be because this is, the thing your brain does when you're trying to sleep. And then the other part of me is like, Amanda, go to sleep. It's nothing. It's just the cats running around like they do. Like, just stop being paranoid and go to sleep." Eventually, I fall asleep. The next morning, when I get up, I come out into the living room and there is bunny poop everywhere, everywhere. And my oldest, my 12-year-old, who got up a little bit before me, he usually does because he gets up stupid early. He's just like, "Hey, mom, guess what? I found Hermes in the middle of the living room floor this morning." So apparently, the noise that I heard charging around the house was not the cat. It was, in fact, our one of our rabbits who had somehow managed to get out of his cage the previous night and had been running around the house, running up and down the hallway, just like, "I got freedom." And then also spent a good part of the evening, like, destroying everything he could get his little rabbity teeth on, which by some miracle did not include any electrical cords. I was just like, "Oh my god, he's lucky he didn't get into anything dangerous in that time because you should not leave rabbits out unsupervised. They will get into things. I would never intentionally leave my rabbit out unsupervised, but he got out of his cage, spent the night out chewing on various toys and, like, the our one of our, like, remotes has one of those, like, rubber covers, like little grippy covers, so it's not so slippery, and he, like, shredded that. He loves to chew on, like, soft rubbery stuff, and normally I do not let him, and so anything soft rubbery that he could find, a couple of the kids' toys, the remote cover, he was just like, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna shred it." You little bastard. So, you know, that was thankfully no harm done. He's fine. Just minor damage to some of our stuff. But whatever, kind of within the realm of the whatever that you deal with just having pets and children. Uh, Incredibly lucky he didn't get into anything that would hurt him. But also, low key, a little bit vindicated by my brain being like a small part of my brain is like, haha, I was right. It wasn't the cats. It was a different animal. And then the other part of my brain is like, oh no, now that part's never going to shut up. That's just what we needed is for that part to be proven right. That's not helpful. All right, let's get this mic cord. Hey, that turned out all right. And now we're gonna flip again. Whee! Yep. So also, unlike an Age of Night page, this is also going to be colored, like I Am the First was. So not a lot of like, there's not really going to be anything in the way of like textures or that or shading or anything like that in the inking. Trying to keep the inking fairly clean. Like this is a little bit of a shadowier scene, so there's a few shadows kind of thrown in because they're in a bar, but for the most part, not a lot of really intense stuff going on with the inks. It's going to be pretty clean and straightforward, so we should be able to get the inks done in just 2 sessions would be my guess. 2 live sessions should should suffice because whatever I don't finish with the nib on this stream, I will finish probably off stream because it won't be enough for another full hour because we're getting pretty far along. Here we go. Nope, there's a hair on my nib. I do not want to drag that around and make a big mess. Get off of there. Get off of there. What is this? No, I can still see. Okay, I can still see it on there. Gotta stop and clean it. I do not. Is it off of there? Yeah, I don't see it now. Okay. Get like a little hair stuck in your on the edge of your nib, and then it just drags ink around and kind of like whips it off in crazy directions, and then you just end up with all these little like flicks of ink different places that you did not intend to have it. All right, I'm going to do a few more of the details on this guitar. Got our tuning machines. Pickups. Doop. Not actually the correct number of frets, but you get the idea. Because again, there's only so much detail you can cram onto something this small. Pick guard. Oop. Okay. Whoop. There we go. Woo! Hello. Oh, no worries. Thanks for joining, someone's saying. And hello, Candler. Good to see you. Hope you enjoy. As I work on my inking my Prophets of Doom page here. That came out pretty good. I'm liking how Robbie's guitar came out there. Oh, I should do the other side of the strap before I totally forget. There we go. Hey, Joe. That's quite all right. I always leave these up, so if you want to go back and rewatch it, you totally can. I understand it's not the same as watching it live, but it is an option. Okay, if we go back up to the top here. Whoops, he needs the other side of in the glass there. Oh, I still need the other side of that. Let's see. And we're going to flip the page around again. Just trying to make everybody dizzy, I guess. Danger, danger, danger. That big fat glob of ink on the edge of my French curve is just like, what if I caused you a giant problem? What if you didn't, though? Let's not. Okay, I think there's only there's only a handful of things left in that last panel that I need to do with the nib. So we're gonna. What just hit the floor? Oh, okay. It was an eraser. It's fine. This is why I can never find any erasers. Doing other stuff and I knock them onto the floor, they bounce away and I'm just like, I'll get it later. Later I totally forget where it went. Okay, I'm going to finish all the little nib inking details in this second to last panel. I already did the ones in this last panel, so we're going to get probably pretty much done with all of the nib inking tonight. It's looking like. Little feats for the bass drum. All right, and then the bass player needs his guitar. So I just like don't breathe while I do those long lines. Just, don't mind me just holding my breath. Wait, does the Fender P have a I feel like the Fender P has a pick guard, even though that's very silly. I had to look it up. Does anyone other than me care? No. I feel like it does. It does. It does have a pick guard, which is goofy because you shouldn't be playing the bass with a pick, but whatever. I get that it also makes it look like again it has those weird like offset pickups right next to each other. And the bridge is way the hell down here. Very silly, but okay. Very silly, but okay, whatever. That's fine. Okay, what else do I need to use any drafting tools on up here? I feel like there's not a lot that really needs much left. Well, there's the other side of that table. I got all their glasses. I need a little bit more on this drum set back here. So we're gonna do other side of that symbol. All right. While some of that dries before I get back over there, I'll do this guy's little pamphlet here. Made it just for the end. Aw, Spud, I'm so sorry. Hey, that happens. It happens sometimes. I appreciate you coming in, even though it is just for the end. It means a lot to me. You guys are the best. There's his watch. We've got to do the lettering on his little pamphlet here. It's like end times. Ah. That E came out a little bit squished. You have the YouTube thing where you say all your links and stuff. Not yet. Soon. Soon. Oh my god, there's another hair on my nib. Get out of here. Oh, that came from my sweater. Aw. I'm wearing such a nice, fuzzy, warm red sweater, but it's shedding. It's shedding onto my pen, which is bad. End times? I'm supposed to say prophecy down there, but his hand is covering it, so. And then it's a picture of him with his goofy Elvis sideburns. And then a little like some kind of little like color burst behind him situation. Look at that. So fancy. All right. So, yes, we are in the last 10ish minutes of the stream, so I will do the YouTube things while I continue to get a little bit more done. And remind you all, I'm Amanda Call. This is my channel. I stream here on YouTube just about every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you would like to join me next week, that will be the time I'm going live. It's a good idea to subscribe to the channel and like tell YouTube you want to receive like the alerts and stuff from it. I don't like, is that the bell still these days? I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. I'm going to say that yes, it's the bell. But yeah, subscribe and have it tell you when I go live. Because also sometimes stuff comes up and maybe I can't go live, in which case I will make like a community post that's like, hey guys, sorry, things came up. And that way you won't be left in the dark. So that is also good. This comic that I'm working on is Prophets of Doom. It is written by Joe Schmalke. It is drawn by me. You can follow all of Joe's stuff and including Prophets of Doom, which is also my stuff, on midnightfactorypress.com. That's where there will be updates about Prophets when it's coming out, when stuff for that is like when orders will be happening, when its release date will be, all of that good stuff is going to be on there. And there's lots of other really cool comics that Midnight Factory puts out, so you should check those out too. I have also started updating Age of Night again. So if you go to ageofnight.com, that's AGEONOFNIGHT.com, then you can read my comic, Age of Night, for free. Also, if you would like to support me making comics and doing other artworks, you can do so at patreon.com/ageofnight. I'm also active on various social media platforms to varying degrees. On pretty much any of them, you're going to find me as either Amanda Call Art or Age of Night. Here's the little foot for the bass drum. Another little foot for the bass drum. I don't think I want to put the hole in the front. I'm going to leave it off. I don't think I want to put it in there. Get some more of these little doodads on here. And let's see, what do I have coming up? My next event is going to be Galacticon in Brewer, Maine. That is May 31st. It is a one-day free-to-attend event. If you happen to be within a reasonable driving distance of Brewer, you should definitely check it out because it's a really cool little event. There's going to be a bunch of different comic guests, lots of comic vendors. Fun time. They usually do lots of like door prizes and giveaways and stuff too, which is nice. All right. So, let's see. I think before I get too involved with any more little details, I think that's probably going to do for this evening. So, over the course of this evening, over the last hour, we have gotten a bunch of the nib inking done. I've got a couple little elements to take care of with like some of the band's equipment and stuff in the backgrounds, but most of the stuff that I'm going to do with a nib pen has been done. So next time we'll be able to work on brush inking the figures, and that will probably be the last stream for this particular page. We'll have to see what we'll do after that. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out with me. I will see you all next time. Bye.